Day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching a 100. This episode 7 of the 5th season. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. And if you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in the link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So very interesting stuff how we ended last episode. MADI is now kind of one crew. Do you know what I mean? Crazy. I'd never expected it. Obviously we always thought that if somebody found out she was a true night bleeder that she may be actually taken out, but it was MADI's own choice to actually go to Octavia and tell her you know, her actual condition. Now again, it's interesting because Clark doesn't want this. She actually wanted to you know, like flee Polish. She wanted to go away from Octavia. She wanted to go back to Diosa. And even though pretty much Clark would acknowledge that going there is kind of a suicide mission for herself, you know, she believed that taking her there and taking her to Abba would be the best way to save like MADI, in terms of obviously like keeping it here in Polish around Octavia, where Nyla now knows that obviously she's a night bleeder, so does Gaia as well. So obviously the more and more people that find out, you know, the less safe that she's going to be. But she loves Octavia, doesn't she? We've seen it since the start of the season when she's been reading the stories from Clark and she's been going through like the books and that she's saying that Octavia is a favourite. And then even when he was first introduced, you know, Clark was saying you're kind of like her hero, you know. But their kind of like relationship in terms of friendships between Clark and Octavia has been obviously dwindling. The way Octavia's been kind of like running her people, you know, one crew. You can see that obviously Bellamy is not really a big fan of it, and obviously they're clashing heads, especially with you know, what's going on with Echo. Now, speaking of Echo, it's interesting because obviously Diosa, she dropped down loads of food supplies with the help of Kane. Obviously they're kind of working together, and he's obviously told her that they're on limited rations, you know, like their produce is running low, and they've come down, they've dropped loads of food, they've had speakers kind of on these things, and he was saying, look mate, you know, if anybody wants to leave there, leave one crew and come over to our side, you know, we're gonna provide you with sanctuary, you can have food, you know, you won't be an enemy of us, you'll be welcomed in, we're going to drop our ship on the other side, do you know what I mean? And anybody that comes with no weapons, you know what I mean, make sure that obviously you're unarmed and we'll accept you. So the interesting thing with this is quite a lot of people actually want to take this sanctuary, and not everybody is fully behind Octavia. So people are rallying up, they're getting ready to go. Echo as well, she's been banished by Octavia again for the second time. She was like, my ruling last time still stands. She's got 24 hours, if not, you know, she's gonna die. Now, they've argued a little bit, and then Echo's ended up, you know, getting into a position of being a spy for Octavia. And Octavia was like, look, I'll tell you what, you know what I mean? You go around, find out all these people that actually want to go and join Diosa and leave our people, leave one crew. And then, you know, we'll call it straight. You'll be okay. You'll be accepted in as my spy. Now, started that way, and then the more and more people that was volunteering and saying that they wanted to go, you know, Echo started gaining a conscience. She was like, mate, I can't sentence all these people to death. I know Bellamy, that'll banish me myself, but I've got to do it. Then they changed the plan, mate. Echo, she was like, look, how about I go into Diosa and I take in this little chip that Monty needs, you know, he needs this chip to go in there to get given to Raven so then they can hack the drone that we can get the eye in the sky. Do you know what I mean? That was a better plan for Octavia. So she actually told them people to stand down and said that Echo could actually go. So now the plan is Echo's going to go into there. She's going to infiltrate. She's going to pass this chip. They're going to hack it, and they're going to view obviously the eye in the sky and have eyes on them instead of it being the other way around, which is good stuff. But the interesting thing is, you know, we thought it was a clear passage. We thought it was all good. We thought everybody was going to be safe going there. And as he was all running, boom, mate, sniper shots, dead. Octavia, mate, she's given the order to kill her own people. Echo is safe, but not everybody was, and quite a few bodies dropped. Now Bellamy's coming, he's screaming, he's mad, he's fuming, do you know what I mean? He's like, how are you doing this, murdering your own people? And Octavia's just turned around and said, look mate, do you really think that she'd just let people just come to the ship and you think I'd be okay with it? I had to make it look believable. There's casualties in war, they are them. She's going to believe now that they actually did try to flee and I tried to stop them. Do you know what? Pretty good counter, to be honest. It does make a lot of sense, but Octavia's savageness has gone right through the roof, hasn't it, mate? She doesn't care about anyone anymore. You are literally a number on a board. Doesn't matter if it's Kane, Abba, do you know what I mean? Like, Indra, anybody close to her, she just chalk you off, not even bothered, mate. So I can't wait to see, obviously, how it goes. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you do enjoy, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into episode 7 of season 5 of The 100.
It's the last sanctuary on Earth, and we are its keepers. I'll be sitting down with each of you to learn your stories and to see if you can be trusted. Welcome home.
Abby?
I did everything I could.
Was that before or after you took these?
She was shot, Marcus.
Promise me that you would quit.
And I will.
Stop lying. It's getting worse. You take one pill to work and then another to sleep.
We're here because of me. Because I serve a purpose. And I can only serve that purpose if I'm functioning.
You didn't even close her up.
I did everything I could.
It wasn't enough.
Oh, that's hard, that, ain't it, mate? Abby's right there, though. You know, they're only there because they're serving a purpose. They're not there because they're like, oh, Abby, we like you. Kane, we like you. No, mate, you're here because we want you to find a cure for our people. If you can't do it, then literally just another number. Like Octavia, chalk you off the board. We'll get somebody else in to have a go. So, in that aspect, she is right. She probably does need to take the pills currently, right now, because she needs to be on that best kind of like position to serve these people. But on Kane's point of view, do you know what I mean? It's just not making her... do you know what I mean? It's making her a bit worse in terms of, like, she's not as good of a doctor as she previously once was. You know what I mean? She's just left her body just left open there, not even stitched up, not even cared. You know what I mean? But then again, Kane tried to say, mate, people are already dying. No, Kane, that's a different type of dying. Yeah? Them people in that camp didn't kill her. Octavia did kill her. So, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, people will die if Abby's obviously like research doesn't progress any further, but right now they haven't done anything. They've still took you in and they're still waiting for answers. So I don't know, it's Octavia on that one. And you know, it's pretty tight because her boyfriend, he got killed trying to run to the ship, and then she obviously got shot, it looked like, and she's died as well. But her body did serve for the chip for Echo, so at least she got one thing over on him.
Bellamy, you've been staring at that all night. Some sleep, okay? I got this. We knew it would take some time. We can count on Echo.
Wouldn't be the first time she betrayed us. Truth is, it's a miracle you showed up when you did. I haven't thanked you enough for that. If we can just get to Shallow Valley, things will be better.
Same thing we said about getting back down to the ground. Then we found you.
Clark, I'm not a baby anymore.
Which is why people are more likely to notice how special you are. You're not going to stand out in any way. No one can think that you'd make a good commander.
Great. Maybe when we fight the war there, I won't have to suck.
Yo, man, she doesn't know like how impending danger her life is in. Do you know what I mean? With this info.
Or told me I might find you down here.
I miss my algae farm. 3 weeks until this place is as dead as the wasteland.
I've been meaning to give this to you. I found it at Arcadia, not long after Prime Fire. I nearly read it a couple of times, but...
That's quite good, Clark. That would have been hard, though. I would have read it, not gonna lie. That's who it is.
Let's go. Keypad energizes the solenoid. Magnet can do the same thing.
Yeah, the guy's too smart, man. Wow.
She said no one else was bitten.
they're breeding them.
Ah, they're feeding them all the dead people and kind of like obviously reproducing more, and they're going to plan to drop them. He's dead now. Wow, that's mad, that. I mean, a pretty good idea, though. You can't really, like... I don't even know how to, like, feel about that one, because in terms of, like, an attack plan... It's a pretty good idea, isn't it? Like, what a weapon that is. You know, they've got these futuristic weapons that can just blow you into, you know, pieces. I don't know, with energy or something. I don't even know what it is that they use, you know, like, to shoot those big weapons. Even Clark drew it on her little book, didn't she, when he first landed to Earth? And we've only seen it shot once, but, like, what are they? And it seemed like they had, like, 4, maybe, last time we seen them. So they've got their own weapons that we don't really know how to counter. This could be one as well. And, okay, doing it to live people... That's where it's like, it's a bit dodgy. But, like, reproducing them against people that are already dead, do you know what I mean? So the ones that they shot in the field that was running to the ship, you know, if you took all them bodies, put them in there, and got them to obviously breed and spread, and if they can find out that, obviously, in cold temperatures, they can reduce how they move and stuff, I don't know, store it, hold it, and then when they get the eye in the sky, they can see it, and they can go in, they can drop them in locations. Mate, that is a good way of attacking them, because right now we have no solution how to defeat them. But in terms of, like, doing it on the sly, doing it, you know, like, on live people and stuff like that, and not telling people your actual plan, that's where it's getting a bit dodgy, because then it's making Octavia kind of look, I wouldn't say worse, but when people find out and it's, you know, this has been going on, it's not really good when it's been kept hush, if that makes sense. We don't know each other. Smart.
Murphy said I need to insert it into any console connected to their transport.
Auto installs and opens a back door to their surveillance system that only Monty can see.
They're all different. Murphy said you had someone inside their camp. Can we trust him?
I hope so.
I hope so as well, actually. Seems alright.
He's our only shot.
Karina's dead. She was Lawada clear-on crew. The rites will be performed this afternoon.
My sister will never approve of human testing. Even if Octavia does know, she won't listen to me. We need help.
My girl Indra. That's what it is, mate. Asset.
Would Cooper do something without my sister's approval?
Only if she got mine first. But since I don't know what the hell you're talking about, it's hard to say. She brought back the worms.
She's breeding them.
Trying to find a way to keep them dormant long enough to deliver them in the next defection.
Told him I don't do funerals.
Letting Murphy go bit me in the ass. McCreary and 2 of our people are missing, and now Dio's is starting to question my loyalty.
I want to be useful here. I can't be locked up anymore. How could you be loyal to someone who collars people like animals?
Wow, and that looks bad, mate.
After the Battle of San Francisco, I watched the evacuation on TV. I remember seeing soldiers pushing helicopters overboard just to make more room, and Dio's was there. Order 11 came down. Bring home the Hitholotium, leave the prisoners. Like they were garbage. Dio's is not as bad as you think, and I'm not as good as you hoped.
Like, it wasn't too bad. In terms of, like, that concept there, do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people would do those sort of situations. It's like the rich only care about getting richer, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about all those people. Just bring me the thing that I want. They can all die as long as I get my little whatever substance it is, then sound, I'm all good. And obviously the actual people are like, mate, exactly that. I don't care if you get that you little substance. I actually care about my friends and all these people up here. There's 100 lives, mate, up in this ship. There's no chance that we're coming back down and obviously just killing everybody. So in terms of like that aspect, I can't really blame them. In terms of Dials are doing all that stuff that Raven said, you know, like blowing up all these things in X, Y, and Z and starting that, it's different. Maybe if that come off the back of she refused to kill all those people, and then they deemed her as the enemy. Do you know what I mean? And then they tried to attack, and then she tried to defend. And then by doing her defense, obviously trying to save her and her people, she become the terrorist because she was destroying her own country, so to speak. Then that's totally different. That's kind of like a mix in communications, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see why she'd been labelled that, but you can see from her side that she wasn't really a terrorist. All she was doing is actually fighting to survive the way most people are on this show. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty interesting. But their neck's looking a bad way, to be honest. Where them colours are underneath it, the makeup's really good. It looks well burnt.
Survived in space with Bellamy and the others.
But now that we're back, Octavia's banishment still stands. I'm coming to you for safe harbor because I have nowhere else to go.
How can you be useful in my camp?
I'm a spy. You knew that too.
And an honest spy is either incompetent.
Hey, that's good, that, isn't it, mate? Both. She come out of there not lying to her, and which is a good asset when she's reviewing.
Karina died because the doctor was too high to operate. You need to clear supply.
If she survives detox. Of course, if we force her, then we wind up with the clean junkie who's just thinking about her next fix.
Are you sick? Abby said you wouldn't let her examine you. Trust her to keep it quiet.
Trust her? She's a drug addict. Too soon? Go get the next effector.
Hold! Ethan!
Yes, Ethan.
We'll be at war soon, and there's nothing funny about that. Get to class. That did not look like a girl with 3 kills in battle.
Hit it.
From your first advance, it was clear that you were hiding something. Do a much better job of it tomorrow when we drill for Octavia.
I don't understand. You want me to fail too?
It's okay. Most of one crew believes the time of the commanders is over. You don't have to be afraid. It's beautiful.
Does Octavia know you have it?
Yes. And as long as Blood Rainer reigns, I will serve her faithfully. But I can't just forget my faith, or my oath to protect the flame and ensure its succession. And I will never let anyone harm you.
Mate, that's really, before we get into that chaotic thing there, that's actually really good from Gaia. You know, like, I have stated many times that she stresses me out and I'm not a big fan of her. But, like, this bit, I do like a good, committed, loyal person. You know, her whole life goal is to be this person here. And she's there. And do you know what? Like, it's kind of like what Clark was saying, mate. I'll do everything to protect you, honestly. Like, literally, I give up my own life. You are like my priority. And she kind of said the same, and it makes me think, how many more people have that same look, you know, and view that them two have? Like, they're both trying to protect her, but they're both doing it separately, and they need to be united. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like two parents. They both have the same idea, both want you to do the same thing, but both of them have asked you to do two different things, the way to achieve it. And it's like, mate, you know, it's not going well. How about everybody wants the same goal? We join together, we get the same plan, and we all go on that same page. And that's what needs to happen. But do you know what? Gaia, she's doing all right, to be honest. I actually liked what she just said there.
Knew about this. Of course I knew about this. It was my idea.
I ran some tests. The worms can't survive in a green environment for more than a few days. Long enough to kill everyone they come in contact with before we get there.
How many innocent lives have you sacrificed?
You killed him.
No, you did.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but the results were remarkable. The worms reproduce 3 times faster in a live body.
Miller told me about the man that you irradiated in Becca's lab. So we control the eye in the sky. We send the worms.
See, to me, do you know what I dislike? Is the shows when they try to compare things that are incomparable, in my personal opinion. So the fact is, right, she's saying, what's the difference here between us going in and taking the enemy out, which is obviously them there, and you taking out the people in Mount Weather? Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. The fact is, the people in Mount Weather was hostage. Yeah, it was your people in there taken hostage by the enemy. This time, it's just you wanting to kill the enemy. There's a difference. Like you just said, you know, acceptable losses, name of the episode. You don't care about any of your people that are over there with them. All you want to do is defeat the enemy. So it's not comparable. One was you done the sacrifice of killing all the people inside Mount Weather because they captured your people and you wanted to save them. Here, you don't want to save anybody. You just want to defeat the enemy, so it's not the same. And yeah, you're saying again, you know, I was told by Miller what you done to that guy in Becca's lab when they obviously exploded him. Again, it's incomparable. The time when that happened, it was the end of the world. It was extreme conditions. You had one chance that you thought was a solution to save mankind, and you went for it and done the testing. Again, doing the testing here on the live person is not trying to save mankind. It's to aid your agenda of taking out somebody that you dislike. So do you know what I mean? To me, it's incomparable. You try to use the same things to try and justify the means to the ends, but nope, it's not the same, in my personal opinion.
They can't kill him because they need him to fly. We are not betraying the one friend that we have here.
No, you're an optimist. You think better days are ahead. But that's not true. Another enemy to fight. Another war. I've come to the conclusion that we're the problem. The cycle can't be broken as long as we're here. That's why...
I mean, he's not wrong there, though, is he? The thing is, though, they're trying to prevent that war, though, aren't they? That's their whole thing.
What's so important? You said you couldn't trust a spy. Does that mean even if my information is good? I've been here a day, and already I know there's a traitor in your camp. Your pilot. When he told you Raven locked you out of the missile system, he was lying. He did it himself, and I can prove it. Why are you here? You know why. No more lectures, Indra. I didn't sanction human testing, but that doesn't mean I won't use what Cooper learned to help save my people. When were you going to tell me you helped Kane escape? If we lose, that'll be why. How does that make you feel? Awful. And I'd do it again. Get out. Careful of the dark, Octavia. Too easy to lose your way. Tell the Colonel what you told me. No more words. I need proof. Okay.
Put it into the system. Oh, smart, mate. They're gonna put it in, plug it in.
Logs can be tampered with on the surface. Just watch. It's buried under layers of rote object code. There it is.
Oh, she's good, mate. Fucking well good, Echo. Lost it.
As soon as we tell her, she marches to war and unleashes those worms.
Yeah, turn it off in it so they can't see that his words.
Jasper should have been with us on the ring, but he wasn't because he gave up.
Doing it again.
Doing what? Saving our friends?
We save our friends by stopping this war. Wonker's about to fight for that valley because they don't think they can survive here, but with this...
Yeah, if the early batches don't kill them like they nearly did us. Come on.
I wanted to apologize.
That mean that you believe I did all I could to save that girl?
Under the circumstances,
Yeah, I believe you believe that you did the best you could.
I'd die for you, but I won't watch you kill yourself. So I need you to choose me or the pills.
Mate, she's choosing the pills because it makes her feel alive.
Take a seat, I'll be right with you.
Anything good to report, Doc?
75% of your people are dying.
That's good.
Oh, she's pregnant. That's unexpected, isn't it, mate? That guy that Murphy's got, you reckon? They did say that they was thing on the arc. That's good, that. I think it's going to be an asset for him in the end.
Fight.
Come, Maddie, your mum and Gaia told you they want you to lose, but not convincingly. The music's going, she's got to win. Like, kids don't listen to that. It's like you talk to a brick wall, honestly.
We're about to fight a war on your land. For your land. And I could really use a second who knows the terrain when we get there. Don't mind, do you, Clark?
Of course she does, mate, but she can't say anything. I'm hoping that she's doing it to infiltrate from the inside and feed information to Clark.
What are you doing? Stopping the cycle.
Tell him.
What would it take for you to share the valley?
Short of an unconditional surrender. Nothing.
Octavia will never surrender.
That's why we're gonna take her out.
Fair, you know, I'd be kind of all for that, to be honest. I'd be all for an attempt to take Octavia out. Now, my hope with this Maddie thing is the fact that she is... I always hope and pray that people know where the loyalties lie. The fact is that Maddie's been pretty much brought up by Clark. She's survived by Clark. She's been there the whole time. Her companion, her mum. Do you know what I mean? The person that's got all the food, give her the stories, helped her live and survive. And like within, I don't know the periods, let's just say a couple of months or whatever, it's like she's flip side, she's no longer listening to Clark, she's with her idol Octavia, she's fighting, going against everything that Clark wants. And I'm hoping that it's just one of them things where like she's smart enough and she's suffered and she's been through everything that Clark's been through, and she understands that sometimes, like Raven, or was it Echo that was saying sometimes like earlier on in the episode, sometimes you have to make bad decisions to make good decisions. She said something like that, and basically she was referencing sometimes we got to go over and we got to like throw this guy under the bus so that we can go in there and we can get the eye in this guy ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad decision because we're losing a friend / an asset that's inside of this camp, but it's a good decision because we're getting the outcome that we need. And that's kind of like in this situation. I'm hoping that she's clever enough to see that Octavia is currently not the person that she used to be portrayed to be. And the fact is that Clark, Bellamy and co, and Indra, do you know what I mean, and obviously Gaia as well, they've all got a better interest at heart than her. Do you know what I mean? Like, if she can't physically see that Octavia has the least kind of interest in her safety compared to everybody else, then it's just blind. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them people that you can't help them. And like, I'm hoping that she's going along with it because she can see and sense herself that, do you know what I mean, I can gain into these positions that Clark can't. And I'm still, you know, Clark's #1 girl, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm still going to field this info back. So I'm interested to see. I'm not going to jump on no bandwagon and say, like, I hate in that and I'm loving that. So much can happen up until a point, obviously, at the end of the season, that obviously I'll judge it once every action has been actually, I don't know, like, explained a bit further. Do you know what I mean? But right now, I'm enjoying what Gaia's doing, to be honest. Like, in terms of, you know, I've never really been a massive fan of her, but she's determined to obviously protect the flame and obviously protect the first, well, the true Nightbleeder. And, like, now, obviously, she didn't want her to fight. She was kind of on Clark's kind of, like, same wavelength. And then she did start getting better in the fight as it was progressing then, which is, like I said, it's a kid talking to a wall. Do you know what I mean? It's like, tell them don't do something, don't do something, don't do something. Mate, in the end, they're doing it. They forget. And, like, I don't know if she realises how important her life is to everybody. And the fact is once her information of being a Nightbleeder gets released to everyone, mate, how in danger she will be. Or whether the fact that she's just, like, I don't know, just totally oblivious to it and she doesn't think it's as big as it is. Only time will tell. But Octavia's savage. Do you know what I mean? The episode's called Acceptable Losses. Yes, okay, she didn't know that a human live person trial was being tested on, but she's now not going to throw it kind of like out the window, because now she knows that it's rapidly progressing better than it does on a dead person and they're advancing. Do you know what I mean? She's considering all options. And To be honest, when that person, Cooper is her name, who's annoying as well, like, she come over and she said, actually, do you know what I mean? Like, that green land there is the only way that we can kind of live around here, and that's what we need to take. We have actually ran tests. Now, I don't know who's ran these tests. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know who's ran them, but we've ran tests and we found out that these worms can't survive actually in the Greenland for more than a couple of days. But what we can do is we could drop them in there and take everybody out within those couple of days, and then when we you know what I mean? Then when we arrive, we could take it and the land's ours. In that concept, it's very clever and it is pretty good then. And if you was going to war, that is a good weapon. It actually really is. But you just flip it on the other side and say, mate, there's people in there that you care about and love. Do you really want to kill them as well? Depends how much of a mad leader you are. Do you know what I mean? From Octavia's side, there's acceptable losses. From my side as well, in terms of like war, there is always casualties in war. Now, when it's your own friends that you know are being casualted, do you know what I mean? That's different. Your opinions start changing. But a true leader shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should think of, I don't know, you got 800 people there, and there's 10 people in here that you like. What would you rather do? Kill the 10 that you like and save the 800? Or do you know what I mean? Or risk everything just to save the 10? And that's the thing. Bellamy and Co, they want to risk everything to save the 10 because they don't really care about the masses. They care about their friends. Where Octavia, she's kind of swung. She don't care about friends no more. She cares about one crew. And it's like, it's interesting the conflicting opinions on it, because even Indra's in that middle line, but she don't know which side to jump on. So again, man, I'm interested to see how we actually finish the end of the season. It's episode 7, it's kind of like mid-season. Can't wait to see obviously how we conclude it. Okay, and that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Very interesting stuff, mate, that we see Diolza. She's pregnant, you know. Abby did say that 75% of her camp have obviously like experiencing this disease or whatever. They're all dying. So I mean, her numbers are soon to probably reduce rapidly, because obviously there's no real cure right now that we know of that they can all survive by. But obviously her, she doesn't seem like she's sick with them, but she's pregnant. Now my question is that the guy that Murphy's got as captive, is he the dad? Because, you know, they did make a reference that, like, you know, at least this guy's useful, and he was like, well, that's not all that was useful on the ark, do you know what I mean, or whatever, on the ship. And she was like, yeah, that was pretty painful as well, you know. So maybe it's him. It's going to be interesting. You know, he didn't die after the attack in the cave. I knew that he'd stay alive. He's like a little cockroach as well himself. So that, again, I'd be interested to see what they do, Amori and Murphy, with him as captive, and like what they try and get out of it. We've seen Echo come here. She's infiltrated. She's acquired the information. Yes, she's kind of through, you know, is it, what's his name now? Miles, is it? Through Miles under the bus, even though I think that he's okay. And I understand that obviously today in the episode, he kind of like stuck up for Diolza, and he was saying, you know, she's not as bad as you think she is. You think she's a terrorist and stuff like that. But, you know, she was trying to defend her own people. They wanted to sacrifice everybody to die. She stood up to them. They had a fight. Do you know what I mean? She branded a terrorist. That I thought was a pretty interesting story, to be honest. And in my personal aspect, I've never really hated Diolza that much, or like, you know, disliked her as much as obviously a couple of the other ones. So I am intrigued to see where we go with that one. Now, he's obviously been through in here at the very end. He's got a collar on himself. Looks like he's been beaten up, obviously, for betraying his people. And it was smart what obviously Echo done by bringing Raven in, showing that obviously she could go through the coding, sure that it wasn't her that actually done it the first time, it was him. And while that distraction was going on, she managed to hit that in, take, you know, well, just like implement the technology or whatever it is that they do it, so that it passes over all the way to Monte. So now he's got the eye in the sky, and none of them will ever know, because it's only had to go in there, transfer the data, pull it out, done and dusted. She could probably destroy that as well. I'd probably get rid of it now, to be honest, so that they couldn't find it, so that they wouldn't be able to check it and see what it is. And now they've got their key asset over there, as well as obviously knowing the information about the worms. And now obviously Clark's trying to cut a deal with her as well, to say, look, what would it do to share the camp? Obviously it's not going to happen because Octavia won't let it. So the only thing that you can actually do is take Octavia out, and then obviously do a new proposal. Because Octavia, after having her people obviously attacked earlier on in the season, he's just thinking about all-out war. And that is just the way Octavia is, to be honest. I can't really hate on it, because like, I like it. I like person that if you've got an excuse to fight somebody, then you go and do it. Doesn't mean that I always like the actions that you're doing around that before you go into the battle. I think this season she's been a bit like up and down. She's a bit like, you know, left and right. I'm not too sure. Like some of the decisions, I'm like, oh, that's a bad decision. Then she'll justify it. And I'm like, you know what, that's okay. You know, like, yeah, to make it look like those deflectors was actually not let away. And obviously, like, they was trying to run away by shooting a couple of them. Makes sense. You know, today, again, I was like, putting that worms in probably isn't a great idea. It's a good weapon, but like, you know, you will destroy the only living part of the planet that you could be on. And then they countered it by saying, well, technically we've ran tests and they'll die after a couple of days. Again, it works out as pretty good. You know, it's a pretty decent asset of a weapon to have to deploy and everybody. And then again, obviously, do you really care about 10 people that are in the camp, even though you're friends, when you've got a whole army, a civilization, population to actually take care of and obviously try and help? So, mate, it's tough decisions being a leader. You've seen Jahari struggled with it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to implement whose life's worth more than the other. And you can't put your own personal agenda there saying they're worth more because they're my friend. And that's the line where we're on. But I'm also on the line that, you know, sometimes I don't like Octavia's agenda. That's what it is. Sometimes I can see an agenda pushing right through and it's hard to get behind an agenda. Logically, when a war's happening and a fight's happening and someone comes to attack you and you retaliate, mate, you can see you're defending. So, like, you're fighting and it's great. But when somebody just gets something in the head and they're constantly just drawn onto it and they're going for it, not willing to listen to anybody else, just focus, blinkers like a horse, do you know what I mean? Then it's hard to always dive on their side. So like I said, mate, she's got MADI now. She's got, obviously, the Night Bleeder. She wants to go over there. She wants to attack them. It's going to be interesting to see how they retaliate. You know, most of them are dying anyway, it seems like. They haven't really got much of an army, even though they've got some of these weapons that we don't know how to use / control yet. And obviously they've got their own weapons getting ready, fashioning with these worms. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait, honestly. It's pretty exciting. I think it's been a pretty solid season, to be honest. It's been entertaining throughout the whole time. Don't think we've had like one terrible episode or like one meh one. I think they've all been quite, you know, high pace, high level, good information, entertaining. So I can't wait, obviously, to see the next one. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you did enjoy it, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.